the fullbacks are getting now. This is really high.
And constantly after the ball, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're weighing up their options to see how long they can sustain this and suppress.
Targeting points from, if they lose by some goals today, no one will be surprised. If they get anything, it's a massive boost for them.
Here goes Kovacic. Doku with 4 waiting for the ball in the middle, trying to find that half a yard. He's found Ake now, who has a good angle to whiz it over towards Haaland and towards Walker, who will retrieve. Goes off Kirkes for a Manchester City corner, and the defender felt with that one.
Yeah, just taking a second or two to recover, but you can see Bournemouth have everyone back in their 18-yard box to defend these corners. Hopefully Kirkes is not too serious.
And Craig Pawson keeping an eye on him. Head injuries, of course, taken very seriously these days. Alvarez to take once a little bit of squabbling is sorted out. Marcus Tavernier right in the thick of things. Alvarez to Bernardo Silva, who takes the touch and takes the shot on, and it was well worth it. Just couldn't quite tuck it under the bar.
Yeah, I think the surprising thing is that he didn't keep it low, he didn't get it on target, he didn't work the goalkeeper. He's in a position there, a couple of yards outside the 18-yard box, and you expect a bit better from a man of his quality.
A man who's just finished 9th in the Ballon d'Or listing, produced a few days ago. He hasn't actually scored in a while. 1 goal in 17 Premier League games for Bernardo Silva. But he's one of those who's just kept things ticking along for Manchester. There you go, Bournemouth now, looking for Dominic Solanke. Ryan Christie involved. He's now waiting in the middle for anything that might come his way. Alex Scott trying to weave a way through. Lloyd Kelly. Kirkes the target. Walker wise to it.
Well, that's a pity, because that final ball is going to be so crucial this afternoon. How do you try and get in behind City? He'd had a few passes there, but Kelly just a bit too strong, overhit that one and gave the ball away. You can see the referee just looking at all the tussles going on inside the box. Kanji felt as though he was fouled, but nothing given.
Well, of course, it's the kind of incident that will be looked at by Craig Pawson in real time, and also watched by the video assistant referee, which is Simon Hooper today. Ian Hussin, his assistant. Stones. Kovacic. For Rodri. Haaland on the run. Rodri keeps it though and looks for Bernardo Silva, who sets Walker away. And the ball in is dealt with by Lloyd Kelly.
Well, you've got to say in these opening 12-13 minutes or so, Bournemouth have defended well. They've given a lot of protection to their goalkeeper. He's not been asked to make any saves, but they are being asked to defend in numbers. Yet again, everyone back inside the 18-yard box for this corner.
Alvarez with the ball in, which is seen off emphatically by Solanke. Silva. Alvarez. Stones was waiting for it. Max Aarons with a touch away. He's played 3 times against Manchester City in the Premier League for Norwich City, losing by an aggregate score of 14-0. Clean sheet intact for Bournemouth for now. Bernardo Silva. Alvarez. Rodri will hit it and didn't get hold of it.
It's as comfortable a save as you would like for Radu. Well set up. Just a little short layoff here from Alvarez to Rodri, who was coming in a good position, but routine save for the goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper who started the last game to make his Premier League debut after the injury to Neto. Has also seen Mark Travers return from loan at Stoke City to be on the Bournemouth bench. Aarons. Solanke on the run. John Stones on the ball.
I think what you're seeing from Bournemouth is when there's a long ball played up to Solanke, his first touch has been really good.
Now Doku racing away. Mepham looking to hold him up. Maybe hold on to him a bit. Alex Scott in to sweep up behind. And they're playing dangerously here. And Kovacic couldn't quite retrieve the ball in the right way. Hearts were beating a little faster here though for Bournemouth.
Yeah, they checked a possible penalty with Mepham against Doku, but nothing given. Again, I think quite rightly.
Kirkes forward. Solanke, neat and tidy. Trying to keep Marcus Tavernier involved.
Well, whether it's Walker, whether it's Akanji, just that burst of pace brought that promising move from Bournemouth to an end.
Tony Areola saying this week that Manchester City are coached in a perfect way. Full of praise for Pep Guardiola, a former opponent in Spain. Indeed, he suffered multiple defeats in cup finals against Barcelona. Coached by Pep Guardiola. Areola then playing for Athletic Club Bilbao.
Mepham again, getting physical. Centre-back finding himself in the middle of the pitch and just making a challenge a bit too robust.
Walker. It's inviting for Haaland, who couldn't quite create the right angle. Christie now. Looking to relieve the pressure, helped out by Solanke, who wants a free kick and gets it.
Again, it's good play from Solanke, uses his strength. He's brought down by Kovacic. Again, the pressure is eased. You're gone beyond the 15-minute mark, and I'm sure Andoni Iraola will be really pleased with this first 15 minutes or so.
On from Scott to Max Aarons. Kirkes. Tavernier. Bernardo Silva with a little nudge. Kovacic now. Had to dig it out from between his feet. And had to hurdle Haaland as well.
Yeah, Haaland almost getting in his way, but the attack is still there.
Here is the Norwegian. Doku. Rodri waiting. With a bit of room. Always worth a hit. He has scored some wonderful goals from range, some memorable and historical goals from range too.
Yeah, he's not too far away here. I think the invitation was there, but he sets it out just a bit too wide to try and bring it in again. couple of yards wide. City still looking to work the goalkeeper, Andre Radu.
Well, Rodri, one of a fair few in City colours nominated in the Ballon d'Or list. The Spaniard finishing 5th in the end. Of course, much was made of the fact that Lionel Messi collected the main award, when some perhaps were thinking Erling Haaland would have been the right call. Pep Guardiola asked about that this week, saying he's not disappointed to finish 2nd. He has his whole career ahead of him. Indeed, it's frightening to think he's just 23. Doku burrowing his way through. The door was closed at the last. Solanke once again doing a very good job up there on his own, assisted now by Tavernier. Aaron's wanted a bit more time and room than he had.
I'm enjoying watching Solanke. Anytime it's been played up to him, his touch, whether it's on the foot, the instep, chest control, and he's got it stuck to him, and it's allowing his teammates to get forward.
He was a very promising young player at Chelsea, of course, couldn't quite break through. Made the move to Liverpool and eventually on to Bournemouth. 5 goals in all competitions this season, 4 in the Premier League. He only got 6 in the whole of last season, so well on course to trump the last campaign's total.
And what a difference when you've got a regular scorer. Been difficult to score in the Premier League, but he started the season, I think, in fine form. Not just his goals, but as I've been mentioning, his control outside the box, his link-up play. It's all improving.
Ake. Kovacic. Silva tucking it back for Rodri. He made sure it was his. Silva. Alvarez perhaps. Nicely watched by Zabarnyi.
Yeah, good defending, Zabarnyi, because these first-time passes into the box, slide rule passes, can be very dangerous. And he timed it well. Another corner for City.
Another Julian Alvarez corner. Once again, he looks for Bernardo Silva. In from Alvarez. Haaland. Akanji. Doku. Every Bournemouth player back, trying to keep Manchester City at arm's length here. Silva. And still. Alvarez. Haaland's there. And the post saves Bournemouth. You just knew his eyes were lighting up as that ball was floating in.
Yeah, he's so aggressive. He gets up above Lloyd Kelly. Is there a little touch off Kelly? I think there might be onto his head. So that's good defending. Gone for a corner after it hits the post. He's at full stretch there, Kelly.
Kovacic. Walker momentarily had room. Now Silva. Intelligently done by Akanji. Floated back in towards Ake. Oh, I'm sure Bournemouth fans feared the worst when it was heading towards their former player.
Yeah, I think they would have preferred Haaland, who's maybe a bit more aggressive. Certainly got a lot more height. There's going to be balls played into the box like that. Haaland will thrive upon chances like that.
Well, it's worth noting he scored 47 Premier League goals, Erling Haaland. If he were to get a hat-trick today, he'd become the fastest player ever to 50 Premier League goals. He's only played 45 games. Andy Cole currently holds the record, reached in 65 games. And Andy Cole wasn't a bad player, by the way.
I was about to say, Andy Cole, you're looking at the top drawer there.
Doku up against Mephamu, got a foot in. All important. Ake. Back for Rodri now. Kovacic. Alvarez. Rodri for Bernardo Silva. Alvarez. Walker maybe just wanted a bit more room than he had there.
Yeah, I thought Alvarez would have been the one to pull the trigger. I think when he'd taken his first touch, he could have just fired it towards goal. You never know what can happen going through a defender's legs or a bit of a deflection, but I think Kyle Walker caught in two minds there.
Tavernier rises with Walker. Alvarez for Rodri. Haaland beautifully passed on, and he might get on the end of it here. Still going. And there were all important bodies in the way from a Bournemouth point of view.
Yeah, I think the important one being again the captain, Lloyd Kelly, just gets in the correct position for that shot. And yet again gives protection to his goalkeeper, not asking him to make a save. He gets the block in.
That's why he's becoming admired around the Premier League, Lloyd Kelly. Ake. Kovacic. Bournemouth working well, making sure Manchester City go in what is, from their point of view, the wrong direction. Here they go again with Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Sweeping it across to Rodri. Silva. This way, then that way, to Walker. Those in blue just waiting for the gap to emerge at the back. At the moment, there aren't many. Bournemouth keeping it tight. Doku. Ake. Away with interest by Aarons. Bernardo Silva just loves getting on the ball in any position, in any part of the field.
No one's surprised at this level of possession from Manchester City. I've got to commend Bournemouth. I think they're defending. I mean, their level of concentration has been top class so far. Everything can change in a second, of course, but after 25 minutes, this has been very good defending.
Bernardo Silva popping it off to Alvarez. Once again, a block required.
Yeah, I think this time yet again it was a Barney. Alvarez wanted to have a proper goal outside the box this time, but has to settle yet again for another corner.
Kovacic. Bernardo Silva looking to bend it. And it was swerving all the way, but just wouldn't quite find that corner.
That's a brilliant effort, because he catches it so well. Doesn't need to look. There's a man in front of him, just wants to bend it round him. Couldn't quite get enough bend on it to find the target. Certainly had Radu scrambling across his goal. Frustrated with himself, he didn't find the target.
His last goal coming in mid-September in the 3-1 win at West Ham. Doku. Walker. Very nearly at the half-hour mark here at the Etihad. Rodri. Solanke right there with him. Walker. Bernardo Silva. Rodri with room to drive into. And Akanji. Walker again. Swirling it over for Haaland. Radu had to be there, had to be positive. Doku with support, and Rodri is there, and Doku keeps going. That's a lovely finish. Manchester City have had to be patient. They've had to keep probing. They've had to find their way through the Bournemouth defence, and they did so there in style.
Yeah, and credit to Ake, because he made the overlapping run as a decoy. Doku used them and stepped inside. And what a lovely 1-2 with Rodri at the edge of the box. Look at Ake here, plays the ball, then goes on the outside. Doku comes in and plays that tight 1-2 with Rodri. So many bodies around him, but he still manages to guide it away from Radu. And so important, given all their possession, to make the breakthrough. And Doku's done it. It's a smart finish. Maybe a slight touch off the defender here, but he knows what he's doing. He wants to try and pass it into the net. Ah, it's lovely. He sees the gap and he places it away from Radu. Can't contain his delight.
Well, from the off, it's only really been a matter of time for those in blue to take a grip on the game. Bournemouth have done what they could. Where Jeremy Doku grabs his second Premier League goal. Pep Guardiola full of praise for Doku in the build-up to this game. Kirkes with the ball over, breaks the way of Tavernier. Up and away from Walker. Haaland scrapping for it.
Haaland and Zabarnyi. Doesn't matter who it is, they are determined to do all the wrestling with Haaland that is required.
Yellow card for Philip Billing there for delaying the restart. Manchester City were keen to get on with proceedings. Going back to Doku, Andy, Pep Guardiola talking about his work ethic this week, but his willingness to learn as well and to take on information from the various members of the coaching staff, showing his improvement.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the wide players that City have, I think there's always a responsibility on them to chip in with some goals, and they all do it. Foden does it, Grealish does it, Doku, who plays predominantly wide, he'll want to come inside more often than not, and he knew exactly how he was setting himself up for a shot at goal. I thought he handled it really well.
Manchester City with 10 attempts in the opening half an hour, 2 of those on target, nothing to show for Bournemouth's efforts as yet. Alvarez. Doku. Happy to step inside from out wide. And now the tricks are out. It's lovely play, and it's Bernardo Silva. It's another silky smooth City strike. And having scored the first, Jeremy Doku well and truly made the second.
Well, this is how quickly the game can change here at the Etihad. Bournemouth defending so well for the best part of half an hour. lost one, Doku, but he set up Bernardo Silva for the second. It's wonderful play, wonderful skill. Gives it out to Kyle Walker, gets it back again, and has the confidence to go right up against Metham and just put it into the path of Bernardo Silva. And no surprise to see him being calm, being composed, and passing it away into the corner. Radu has no chance, but it's the quality of the build-up play, the set-up from Doku, and the clever finish from Bernardo Silva.
Well, the first half an hour had seemingly ticked by with Bournemouth doing their level best to keep Manchester City quiet. But a double in double quick time has swung the game firmly in the direction of the champions.
And how demoralising is it for Bournemouth, because they had been organised. They knew what they were doing, their level of concentration was good, but they've been undone by absolute quality.
Just 3 minutes and 23 seconds between Manchester City's first and second goals. So often the top teams hit you hard and hit you quickly, and if they can, they hit you twice. And this, of course, all done without a certain Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, just imagine how they'll be when he gets back to full fitness. Even better.
Kevin De Bruyne, another one in the Ballon d'Or list, finished 4th this season. He's ruled out till at least December with a hamstring injury that required surgery. He picked that up right at the start of the season in that victory at Burnley. Alvarez. John Stones. Akanji for Haaland, whose mere presence caused problems for Bournemouth.
Well, you can see Zabarnyi, I think he felt as though his goalkeeper Radu should have commanded his box a bit more. He's forced the error, Haaland.
Just a little tap on the back of Zabarnyi as well, there, just to say, never mind. Alvarez over the ball, Kovacic nearby, Bernardo Silva right on the edge of the box. Here is Silva for Alvarez, and they'll do it again. Off Tavernier.
It's amazing the amount of corners that they have, and they seem to take everyone short or play it to the edge of the box.
Silva. Doku wanted the touch, wants another goal, and he's got it! Well, he is loving life out there today. Jeremy Doku taking centre stage for Manchester City. And the hosts, 3 goals to the good already.
Yeah, I think it comes off maybe the backside here of Akanji. I think his teammate helps him. I'm sure it was going on target from Doku. But when you see it here, I think it comes off the back of Akanji, who knows absolutely nothing about it. He's in an onside position. He immediately puts his hand up in the air to claim it. It's not often he'll get a goal or two. But Doku's strike, maybe going wide. And Akanji comes off his back. And yet again, Radu has absolutely no chance. It's just inside the box. I think you'll see it better here. Yeah, that's going wide. And Akanji helps it right into the corner.
Well, that may well go down as a Manuel Akanji goal, and it'll be his first Premier League goal.
I tell you, I'd be claiming it. Last touch, absolutely. That ball was going wide. That's Akanji's goal.
I saw you play, you'd definitely claim that. 7.5 minutes, 3 goals. That's what Manchester City can do to you.
Well, what does Andoni Iraola do now? Because it's a matter of, trying to keep the score down, trying to get some respectability. They haven't played badly. They've been outclassed. They've seen a bit of quality from Doku, Bernardo Silva. There's a mistake.
Alvarez, Doku, who might think he's on a hat-trick. So important, even with quite possibly the game gone already, that Bournemouth keep their concentration, keep their composure. Lots of time left in this game for lots to happen.
Yeah, keep their discipline too. I think that's important. The shape has been really good, but City have just had too much class.
Here's Haaland. Doku. And again. Speeding away. Looking for Alvarez. Oh, it very nearly fell the way of the Argentinian anyway.
He's got a remarkable burst of pace over the first 5 yards, Doku. That is what is giving this Bournemouth defence so many problems. He can go on the outside, or have you seen for his goal, cutting on the inside to play a 1-2.
Can't tell you it has gone down with the Premier League as a Manuel Akanji goal. That third for Manchester City. It says much about the rotation under Pep Guardiola, that the likes of Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, Josko Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz all dropping to a bench which already includes the likes of Calvin Phillips and Matheus Nunes. And 2 very promising youngsters in Rico Lewis, who we've seen plenty of, and Oscar Bob as well. In goes Kirkes. Nicely done, sweeping it away from Akanji. Alex Scott now. Room for Aarons. And Scott again. It's still there for Bournemouth perhaps until Ederson gobbles it up. And there's concern for the welfare of Alex Scott here.
Well, hopefully he'll be okay. Because when the ball was cut back to him, he thought he was on for a shot. Rodri came in. And he's just maybe caught his knee, has he? Just 2 players coming together. Bit of a collision. He's hoping he can get up and get on with the game.
Well, they've been desperately waiting for him to get into the side and up to speed. He started the last 4 games, including today, having missed the start of the season with a knee injury that he picked up during pre-season at Bristol City before making the move to Bournemouth.
Yeah, but this is the harsh reality of life in the Premier League, where you're playing well. Your level of concentration's high, you're defending well, you're organised, you're in a good shape. And within the space of 7 minutes, you're 3-0 down. And Haaland hasn't even scored yet.
Real concern here for the Bournemouth fans. Alex Scott was the EFL Championship Young Player of the Year. He was in the Team of the Year. And he was Bristol City's Young Player of the Year and Player of the Year.
He looks absolutely distraught, doesn't he? I wonder if he knows himself he's done something that's not good. I don't think he's going to take further part in this game.
Well, Bournemouth are preparing Joe Rothwell. And Alex Scott would have come out here today, just 20 years of age. Only relatively recently turned 22. Stepping out into the home of the champions, looking to make an impression and show what he can do. And it's a sad end to the game for him. And having fought back to fitness, he may well have to do that all over again.
I think that's why he was so distraught. Not again. Hopefully it's something he can shake off quickly. I mean, he's not on a stretcher. I hope he's not aggravating anything.
Alvarez, nearly for Haaland. Tucked away by Zabani.
But knowing City, they'll be ruthless, they'll get the job won. And they'll want to score more goals. A couple of minutes plus added time until the end of the first half. And with yet another corner, you could easily get another one, as the substitution is made now.
So Rothwell on for Scott before this Manchester City corner. Often coaches are reluctant to make a change before a set play for the opposition, but being a man light, it's important to get back up to the full complement. Kovacic. Busy in the box as ever. Kovacic bypasses the crowd. Silva for Walker. Kovacic again. He was looking for Manuel Akanji. Sorted out by Walker. Alex Scott just wandering down the tunnel now, almost in tears, isn't he, Andy, as he walks away?
Oh, I really feel for him. I mean, serious injuries are bad enough to cope with, but having one after the other, let's hope it's not as bad.
Akanji back for Stones. In terms of added time, we're going to play a minimum of 4 more minutes.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes.
Edison wants to get involved.
Yeah, he's been quiet. He wants to come out and play some passing.
Well, most goalkeepers think they can play outfield, but I think this guy genuinely believes he can, and he's certainly shown plenty of examples of his quality, and that was almost another. Trying to pick out Haaland.
Well, Zabani is claiming that he was fouled by Haaland, but again, just part of the wrestling that those two will get involved with throughout the game this afternoon.
Alvarez warned before he was swarmed. Aaron's just about getting through the crowd. And he keeps on going. Looking for Kirkes. Once again, Walker swiftly back into defensive mode.
Yeah, there's not many that'll beat Kyle Walker with a burst of pace, whether it's a short 5-10 yards or even over 20 or 30.
Kovacic. Beautifully done by Edison. Doku on for Alvarez. Looking for Haaland. Just took that extra touch which opened the door for Zabani. Otherwise it would have been another quite stunning Manchester City goal.
Well, it's brilliant from Ederson to start that attacking move, but I'm a bit like you, Dave. I thought he would have taken it first time. It looked as though it was in his path to take it first time. I think it's a mistake that he took a touch to allow Zabani to get back in and get the block.
Doku. Bernardo Silva had a bit of space before Billing stepped in. Walker fancied his chances. Doku found a way through towards Akanji, out as far as Silva. Rodri. Bernardo Silva again. Not quite for Stones. Tavernier saw to that. Stones away from Christie.
They are chasing shadows at the moment, these Bournemouth players. Really hard going for them.
Last few seconds of the added time. Bernardo Silva on for Alvarez, who's buzzing around and looking for Haaland. And that's the last move of a first half that Manchester City have dominated. 3 goals in 7.5 minutes may well have won a contest for them. Jeremy Doku with the first, he set up the second for Silva, and his strike for the third deflected in off Akanji. The game might well be over as a contest, the scoring quite possibly isn't. Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 0 at the break.
Mimpi buruk yang berdurasi 7,5 menit bagi Bournemouth, di mana Jeremy Doku tampil impresif, mampu menciptakan gol pembuka dan bahkan memberikan assist untuk gol Akanji. Dia benar-benar menjadi pemain yang terus memberikan teror dan menghancurkan pertahanan Bournemouth di babak pertama.
Taste the coolest flavor. LA Ice Purple Boost. Taste the coolest flavor. LA Ice Purple Boost.
Terima kasih Anda masih bersama kami di studio. Pemirsa, kita tahu 3 gol sudah menghiasi di babak pertama. Gol pembuka dari Jeremy Doku, kemudian dilanjutkan dengan Bernardo Silva, dan ditutup dengan 3 gol dari Manuel Akanji. Ini memberikan Man City ini memang benar-benar tim yang super power yang akan siap mengejar Tottenham Hotspur di puncak klasemen.
Ya, luar biasa penampilan yang begitu efisien ya dari City. Mereka tahu betul kapan momen yang tepat untuk bisa menghancurkan sistem pertahanan low block yang begitu disiplin sebenarnya dari Bournemouth di awal laga, tapi dibuka dengan kemampuan Doku yang tampil on fire di laga kali ini dengan golnya dan juga assist tadi, walaupun memang dia yang menendang bola terkena Akanji untuk bisa mengarahkan bola menuju gawang dari Bournemouth. Jadi juga kemampuan dribble dia ini yang benar-benar sulit untuk bisa dihentikan. Duel yang dia menangkan pun 80% di babak pertama tadi. Jadi Doku tampil begitu solid, tapi juga jangan lupa Bernardo Silva dengan sentuhan magisnya menambah lagi keunggulan bagi tuan rumah Man City.
Dua pemain sayap yang sudah kita bicarakan yakni Jeremy Doku dan juga Bernardo Silva ya, Adi. Dan juga ada satu lagi yang ditunggu-tunggu, Phil Foden.
Iya, Phil Foden juga sebenarnya pemain yang nanti kita nantikan. Kalau beraksi maka dia akan menjadi penampil yang akan kembali mengancam ya bagi pertahanan Bournemouth. Dan ini Haaland yang sempat mendapatkan kesempatan tadi di awal persaingan.
Dan kita melihat pemirsa beberapa kali Man City untuk mencoba menambah dan juga menggedor beberapa lini pertahanan yang dilakukan oleh Man City atas The Cherries.
Dan ini gol pembuka yang sangat indah ya. Return pass dari Rodri tadi benar-benar membuat enak Jeremy Doku untuk bisa melepaskan satu upaya first time yang juga dengan presisi yang luar biasa. Dan ini adalah sentuhan indah dari Doku untuk bisa membuka account dirinya dan City di laga yang sebenarnya ini bagi Bournemouth bisa berbahaya di babak kedua ya. Karena mereka sama sekali tidak memiliki kendali apapun di laga ini dan dengan mudahnya bisa dibongkar pertahanan mereka dengan kemampuan passing dan juga kemampuan individual dari para pemain City termasuk Doku yang paling bersinar tentunya.
Pemain baru di Manchester City ini memberikan kita bahwa yang dilakukan oleh Pep Guardiola dengan pembeliannya ini begitu worth it di musim kali ini.
Dan ini gol kedua dari City dan lagi-lagi pemain yang sudah kita bicarakan pre-match, Bernardo Silva dalam form yang begitu sensasional. Ini pemain yang terkadang tidak menciptakan gol maupun assist tapi perannya untuk City begitu signifikan dari segi build up dan juga kemampuannya untuk bisa melirik pergerakan rekannya. Kali ini dia ada di akhir dari sebuah peluang yang begitu nyaman dia lesakan, hanya di pass saja untuk bisa melewati pertahanan dan juga penjaga gawang Bournemouth. Kembali satu upaya yang sangat indah dari Doku untuk bisa men-set up rekannya Bernardo Silva untuk menciptakan gol tambahan bagi Manchester City.
Dan sepertinya para pemain dan juga skuad dari The Cherries ini tidak bisa berkutik sama sekali di babak pertama dengan keunggulan yang cukup nyaman yang diberikan Man City atas The Cherries di laga home mereka kali ini.
Ya, ini kembali kita saksikan lagi bagaimana Jeremy Doku yang lagi-lagi take over, ada deflection dari Akanji. Doku average-nya 55 menit, tapi bagi City dialah pemain yang memiliki catatan most successful one-on-one selama dalam sebuah laga, yaitu average-nya 5,4 dan dia menambah lagi di laga kali ini.
Dan tadi di menit-menit terakhir Erling Haaland masih belum mempunyai finishing yang cukup baik. Dan pemirsa, berikut adalah match statistik yang dimiliki oleh kedua tim yang mana Man City tampil begitu superior dengan ball possession 71%. Atas Bournemouth hanya 29%. Hanya 2 shot yang diberikan oleh Bournemouth, sedangkan Man City begitu kontras, begitu jauh sekali. 13 shot dan 4 shot on target yang dimiliki oleh Man City di babak pertama.
Iya, tanda dominasi, kenyamanan, dan lagi-lagi ini kesempatan juga nanti di second half untuk merotasi ya bagi Pep Guardiola. Karena ada laga di Champions League midweek menghadapi Young Boys di stadion yang sama.
Baik, Adina juga pemirsa, kita akan melihat under match yang sudah tersaji dengan waktu yang bersamaan yang akan dimulai dengan pertandingan Everton versus Brighton dengan skor sementara 1-0.
Ya, ini satu upaya dari Everton untuk kembali bisa meraih hasil positif dan justru wingback mereka Mykolenko mampu menciptakan gol pembuka ya bagi The Toffees. Dan ini gol yang dianulir di mana center back Lewis Dunk mampu menyamakan kedudukan tapi VAR mengatakan gol ini harus dianulir akibat offside tadi. Dan berikutnya adalah laga Brentford menghadapi West Ham ya, Berta, di GTEC Community, di mana awalan yang sangat indah bagi tim tuan rumah mampu meraih keunggulan melalui Neil Maupay yang dipercaya sebagai starter, tapi kemudian berbalik keadaan ketika Kudus mampu menciptakan sebuah gol yang menurut saya ini luar biasa.
Ya. Dan juga Jared Bowen juga memberikan 1 gol untuk West Ham United.
Ya. Wow, ini kemelut di mulut gawang dan Flaken tadi gagal untuk bisa mengamankan gawang Brentford. Dan Jared Bowen ini 6 laga away, dia menciptakan 6 gol. Ini prestasi luar biasa bagi Jared Bowen dan juga West Ham. Oh, luar biasa tadi bagaimana lini pertahanan Burnley dilewati oleh Jeff Schlupp yang membuat dirinya mampu untuk bisa menciptakan gol. Dan ini keadaan yang sama sekali tidak menguntungkan bagi Burnley.
Dan selanjutnya Di pertandingan selanjutnya pemirsa ada Sheffield United versus Wolverhampton yang masih dengan skor kacamata sebagai hasil sementara. Ini menurut Anda Sheffield United dan juga Wolverhampton, siapa nih kira-kira yang lebih duluan untuk mencetak gol tadi?
Iya, kalau kita melihat tadi Cunha ada peluang untuk bisa menciptakan gol. Memang Sheffield terus struggling dan saya pikir Wolves masih punya kesempatan di babak kedua untuk bisa unggul.
Sekali lagi pemirsa, berikut adalah hasil sementara. Brentford 1-2 atas West Ham, Burnley 0-1 atas Crystal Palace, kemudian Everton 1-0 atas Brighton, kemudian Man City 3-0 atas Bournemouth, kemudian Sheffield United 0-0 atas Wolverhampton Wanderers. Dan berikut adalah hasil sementara di babak pertama di 5 pertandingan yang sedang berlangsung di waktu yang sama. Menurut Anda di siapa nih kira-kira yang akan tampil lebih mencuatkan lagi? Dari pertandingan kita terlebih dahulu, Man City versus Bournemouth.
Iya, ini pertandingan yang terlalu satu arah, terlalu dominasi oleh City. Mereka sangat nyaman untuk bisa memainkan bola dari kiri ke kanan, dan kita lihat bagaimana interchange di sektor lapangan tengah ya. Bernardo Silva, Jeremy Doku, kemudian juga Rodri tampil begitu apik bersama dengan Kovacic. Tinggal justru ketika sudah unggul nyaman seperti ini, malah Haaland dan juga Alvarez yang belum bisa menciptakan gol ini bisa menjadi satu kesempatan bagi dua pemain ini untuk unjuk kebolehan. Tapi jangan kaget juga kalau Pep justru akan menggantikan dua pemain depannya dengan mungkin ada Jack Grealish juga ya di bench nanti yang bisa dipercaya untuk masuk di babak kedua. Jadi masih menarik untuk melihat apakah Pep sudah puas dan akan merotasi atau masih terus coba menggempur pertahanan Bournemouth di babak kedua.
Lantas peluang seperti apa yang harus didapatkan oleh Iraola di babak kedua? Kita akan membahasnya jauh lebih lanjut lagi, tapi setelah yang satu ini tetaplah bersama kami.
Loh, buset, film ada palanya. Lihat-lihat dulu dong. Maaf, sumpah saya gak ngadalin. Biar mampus teman saya kalau saya bohong. Sumpahin kamu, biar botak. Dasar monyet bau, kadal pitit, muka gepeng, kecoa bunting, babi ngepet, dinosaurus, brontosaurus, kirik. Jangkrik, bos.
Ngajakin gue ribut lo. Acting supaya pasangan lu suka sama lo. Dokter, pukul aku dokter. Yang mana tahu dong? Iya.
Jangan ragu buat jadiin orang yang berbeda banget sama kamu itu buat jadi pasangan kamu selama-lamanya.
Jadi diri kamu sendiri aja selamanya. Gak usah ngajak-ngajak aku.
Kakugo wa dekiteru yo na.
Kuis dukung Garuda Muda. Klik tab arcade, main dan kumpulkan skornya. Menangkan tiket gratis menonton langsung FIFA World Cup U17, termasuk akomodasi ke Surabaya. Mainkan sekarang.
Terima kasih Anda masih bersama saya Verta Linsa dan juga Adiani di studio. Pemirsa, kita tahu 3-0 sebagai hasil sementara di babak pertama. Lantas apa yang harus dilakukan oleh Andoni Iraola dan juga The Cherries untuk setidaknya memberikan gol lah ya?
Untuk menciptakan gol tentunya sangat sulit dengan minimnya peluang yang mereka dapatkan. Masih 0 shots on target, sedangkan City sudah ada 15 upaya ke gawang. Dan bagaimana tadi short corners dari City juga impresif karena banyak peluang tercipta di tepi dari kotak penalti dan juga gol dari Bernardo Silva dengan sistem yang serupa ya. Dan ini belum ada pemecahan solusinya karena cukup terlambat bagi para pemain gelandang dari Bournemouth untuk menutup celah yang terus dimanfaatkan oleh Pep dan juga Man City. Dan juga harus diingat bahwa Pep Guardiola ketika dia take over Man City di halftime dengan keunggulan 3-0 ini sudah dia dapatkan dalam 28 laga. Dan hasilnya semua melaju dengan mulus meraih keunggulan. Dan ini adalah keadaan yang kembali membuat tentunya Bournemouth sangat terpojok dan bukan tidak mungkin kalau tidak dirotasi juga ini akan City terus menciptakan gol demi gol ya yang akan membuat Bournemouth terus tertekan di babak kedua.
Dan kita melihat juga bahwasanya Man City ini ketika seandainya hari ini memenangkan pertandingan dengan kemenangan 1 kali ini berarti bertambah 13 pertandingan yang disapu bersih oleh Man City. Dan berikut adalah match stats yang dilakukan oleh Jeremy Doku yang mampu berkontribusi 1 gol di babak pertama tadi.
Ya, luar biasa aksi dari Doku dengan assist, dengan golnya, pergerakannya, take on-nya. Phil Foden akan masuk, sedangkan Senesi akan masuk untuk Bournemouth ya, untuk menambah lagi pemain di zona pertahanan mereka. Dan inilah City, inilah Pep Guardiola. Belum puas dengan hanya unggul 3 gol saja, akan masuk Foden. Pergantiannya bukan tidak mungkin akan didapat oleh Bernardo Silva potentially ya, karena Silva juga sudah tampil luar biasa dalam beberapa aksi terakhir Man City, dan ini kesempatan untuk bisa memberikan dia break sejenak. Dan Rico Lewis juga adalah pemain yang bisa tampil. Ada juga Oscar Bob di bench dari Man City, dan juga Matheus Nunes yang game minutes-nya masih belum terlalu optimal bagi Man City. Jadi opsinya masih begitu mewah yang ada di bench bagi Pep Guardiola. Sedangkan tadi sepertinya Senesi yang sudah melakukan warm up dengan cukup giat tadi ya di halftime akan ditampilkan untuk menambah lagi. Mungkin akan tampil dengan tambahan pemain bertahan, jadi sekitar 6 pemain bertahan akan ada di area pertahanan dari Bournemouth.
Baik, ada juga pemirsa, langsung saja kita simak bersama kick off babak kedua Man City versus Bournemouth langsung dari Etihad Stadium. Kami dari studio mengucapkan selamat menyaksikan.
I think it was that chance that he had when we both thought he would take it first time. He took that extra touch, and then with the challenge, I think it just caught him, and he's struggling to shake off that knock. So why not get Phil Foden on, give him every chance of being fit for the middle of the week.
We're also going to see a Bournemouth change. It's Chris Mepham who's going off, and Marcos Senesi coming on in his place. So the changes have been made. Let's see if they make any difference to proceedings. Manchester City controlling that first period. Jeremy Doku very much at the forefront of everything created by the Blues.
Replaced the half-time number 9, Erling Haaland.
Manchester City are unbeaten in the last 50 Premier League games. When winning at half-time, they've won 47 of those. Bournemouth looking to start in the right way. Kirkes, Kovacic stepping in, Ake as well. Words of positivity, you would have thought, from Andoni Iraola during the break, to try and make his side either believe they can turn this around or just believe they can stay strong in the second period.
Can they get the next goal? Can they give Man City a bit of a fright? I mean, I think City will still dominate possession. They've got another hugely talented player on the pitch in the shape of Phil Foden.
Aarons looking for Christie, who will get there, and he's created something for Solanke, but the flag is raised just when Bournemouth thought they'd done exactly what they needed to do at the start of this second half.
And I think he is just off. I think he went just a bit too early. It's a positive move from Ryan Christie. There you see him on the overlap. He is offside. And as soon as it's touched home, quite rightly, the flag goes up. Pity for Bournemouth, but he's clearly offside.
It is still being looked at by the video assistant referee, Simon Hooper.
VAR checking this line goal offside.
Well, with the naked eye and the picture we are seeing, it looks absolutely clear that he's offside. They might be going through, given the horrible incident we saw with Spurs and Liverpool, they might be going through their language, but that's still there. Looks clearly offside.
There are the lines. So it remains Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth's top scorer denied a goal at the Etihad. They've scored 5 goals this season in all competitions, and Bournemouth as a team have scored 14 in all competitions. So a little over a third of the strikes have gone under his name. David Brooks and Antoine Semenyo the next best on the scorers list with 2 each. And even though that hasn't counted, it will boost confidence a little bit that a route back into proceedings is possible. Zabanyi back to Radu. Rodri. Walker moving it on. Back to Manuel Akanji. Walker tempted onto the ball, he just couldn't quite catch it.
Well, he offers himself so often as a winger in the last third. Plays as a fullback, but up and down that right-hand side all day long.
Well, with his side 3-0 up, he won't want them to take the foot off the pedal, even though there's a game in the Champions League in a few days' time. Some important tests await. The next 2 league games are at Chelsea and here against Liverpool. And the next one after that is here against Tottenham. So 3 to really catch the eye in the coming weeks. And they'll tell us an awful lot about how this Premier League season is going to unfold.
Yeah, it will have a different shape entirely after those games. And as you say, you'll know a lot more about each team.
You even go down to the next Premier League game after that, which is at Aston Villa. A side who are causing problems for teams up and down the Premier League table at the moment. Here's Bernardo Silva. Ederson just enjoying the fact that he's got the ball at his feet.
He might have more touches than some of the Bournemouth players.
Alvarez beaten off the ball there by Kelly. Alvarez will chase down. Tavernier. Now the touch from him was sharp.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good first-time layoff, but Kerkez just couldn't get it under control.
Ederson not quite for Ake. Christie seizes upon the ball. Ake back in his way. Back in from Christie again, and Kerkez couldn't make it his. Walker was the nearest Manchester City player with him.
Yeah, he leaned into him. I don't think it's enough for a penalty. He got back and there was just a little nudge on him.
Ederson for Foden. Ake bundled over by Christie. A reminder, just the 1 yellow card shown in the first half. That was to Philip Billing.
Yeah, it's not like Ryan Christie. I mean, he's so late there. Just wanted to... absolutely wanted Nathan Ake to let him know he was there.
Here's Stones. Akanji. Tavernier making sure he goes no further. Led Rayo Vallecano to 11th in La Liga last season. Their best finish for a decade. He was determined to try and make Bournemouth into some sort of a force in the Premier League. Walker's ball in easily fielded by Radu.
Well, he's annoyed with himself, Kyle Walker. You saw him kicking the advertising hoarding there. He can do better with his end product. Good play to get to the byline, but it's a comfortable take for Radu.
A goalkeeper who hasn't been troubled too much really in the game, albeit he's conceded 3 times. Hasn't had to produce flying stops in the first half, and certainly nothing as yet in the second.
Yeah, I don't think he had any chance with the goals. I mean, they were passed away from him. There was one bit of a deflection, but he's done okay. And I think just in general, Bournemouth have defended well. They've been beaten by absolute quality.
Trying to shake off Rothwell. He's tucked it back here for Stones. Alvarez with a gift that Bournemouth will look to make something from. Senesi, who poked it through with a bit too much force. Bit of a scrappy start to the second half in general, really.
Yeah, maybe City missing that focal point of Erling Haaland, but they've got Foden on the ball. He can create things, get it to his feet. So many creative players for City.
He was such an important part of the derby victory last weekend. Prodding home that 3rd goal, which really put a stamp on a very impressive Manchester City victory. 5th win in 8 Premier League visits to Old Trafford under Pep Guardiola. This is Kelly. Aarons. Doku with the foot in. He was the key player in that first half. Those 3 goals in 7.5 minutes, scoring 1 and setting up the other 2. I wonder if there was any debate between Doku and Akanji in the dressing room at half-time. Here's Foden. Thought about sliding through to Bernardo Silva, instead it's Doku. Still going. It's nicely done. Urgent Bournemouth defending to block his path to goal.
And you just can't read it. Is he going inside? Is he going outside? He can do both. His feet are so quick. He's capable on the right and left side. He's had a very impressive performance this afternoon, Doku.
Well, his last 18 league games for Rennes and Manchester City combined, he's scored 8 times and set up 5 goals as well. He's certainly been at the forefront in this match, and here he is again. So many to look for in the middle. Akanji, Kovacic! A snapshot that was always rising.
Well, I just fell to him in an instant, and he couldn't keep it down. I mean, it's a good ball from Doku. Akanji just helping it into the danger area. And from around that penalty spot, maybe Kovacic, concentration maybe should be harder. Try and keep it down.
Teo Kovacic looking for his first City goal in game number 12. Rodri. Bernardo Silva leaving it behind for Kyle Walker. Silva once more. Rodri, Foden, might drop for Alvarez. He couldn't lever his way onto the ball to get the telling touch.
Yeah, good defending in the end from Zabarnyi. Foden getting the shot away, a bit of a block, but it could have fallen into the path of Alvarez. Zabarnyi just read it.
Crazy to think that Julian Alvarez is just 23 years of age. He's already won the World Cup, finished 7th in the Ballon d'Or rankings, and won the treble with Manchester City.
Yeah, he needs to improve.
Silva for Foden. Rodri. Ake will take it on, encouraging Doku to carry on his run forward. Doesn't take much encouragement. And it's really good defending by Aarons, who not only wins the ball, but the goal kick.
Yeah, good speed there. Good contest, that one. Doku's quick, but Aarons quicker there.
Edison. No pressure on him, he'll keep on wandering. Now Rothwell has it. Philip Billing had applied the pressure and I think wanted Rothwell to turn and shoot there like Billing did last weekend. With Edison off limits. Kirkes looking to rescue the ball. He's done so. Only 2 Bournemouth players in the penalty area, so they've looked to take the scenic route here. It's nicely done from Billing and Solanke as well. And his strike thumps the crossbar.
It's a brilliant effort, isn't it? Bit of encouragement for the Bournemouth supporters there.
Manchester City not at their neat and tidy best at the moment with the ball. Bournemouth looking to profit from that. They are in a nothing to lose position after all. 3-0 down at the break. Christie tiptoeing his way through. Walker in the way this time. Ake's header all important against Aarons.
No one ahead of him, Doku, that's why he had to come back. But what a terrific effort to goal from Solanke, showing all of the sharpness that we've seen from him so often this season.
Now Alvarez, Zabarnyi with him. Walker. Nathan Ake, the furthest forward for Manchester City there for a moment. Here he is now retreating a little. Stones. Walker. Blocked by Kirkes, but Manchester City find a way out anyway. Bernardo Silva it was, challenged by Senesi.
Again, good speed and reading of the game from Senesi to bring that potential City move to an end.
Nicely done by Doku. Foden, plenty of space, plenty of options as well. Doku trying to help it through. Foden kept going and going and scoring. They were dominant in the derby. Now City are picking Bournemouth apart.
Well, Foden said Doku outside the box, and you've just got to admire the run that he makes to get the return pass. And my goodness, he makes it count. Doku gives him it back, and he's inside the box. He knows exactly what he's doing. So often you can drive it through the legs of
confirmed that there is no longer any further problem. The crowd have come well covered up against the elements, whatever they may throw at us over the next hour or two.
And Doku just sees that run inside the box and feeds him well. It's through the legs there of Kelly. Radu's got no chance. Just inside his legs, but it's always going to end up in the back of the net. It's a wonderful goal.
Well, Manchester City fans absolutely love Phil Foden. Bournemouth fans must be sick of the sight of him. He's played 5 times against them. He's scored 4 goals against them and was on target in both Premier League wins against the Cherries last season.
And we all know how good a player Phil Foden is, but when he adds goals to his game, when he's so determined to get in goal-scoring positions, that's what sets him apart from so many others.
There's Rodri for Kovacic. Manchester City just needed that goal, not to necessarily wrap the game up, but just performance had just dipped a little bit. Crowd were just wondering what was going on a bit. It was getting a bit scrappy.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave, in the fact that Bournemouth had a decent effort at goal. Solanke with a shot that was coming off the bar. But a 4-goal advantage, I think, is a pretty fair reflection of how the game has gone.
Well, that 4th goal going in for Manchester City has prompted a fair bit of movement on either bench. We're going to see Calvin Phillips in a moment. We're going to see Rico Lewis as well. Bournemouth are about to make a couple of changes too. Meanwhile, here's Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Doku. Ake. The path blocked by Savani.
I think Doku can be happy with his afternoon, his level of contribution. Looking so dangerous in that last stop.
Final instructions for Mateus Nunes. He'll be licking the lips at the thought of coming on here and looking to add to Bournemouth's woes. Foden. Collected by Radu. It would have been a corner if it had gone, but it was an easy claim for him. Looking down at the touchline, it's almost like a pre-season friendly. There are 5 players waiting to come on. 3 for Bournemouth. Rather 2 for Bournemouth. Sinisterra and Semenyo. Nunes, Phillips and Lewis in Manchester City blue. Alvarez. Foden. Silva. Silva. Foden. Plenty of space for Walker. Akanji. Rodri. Alvarez just picks the pace up a little. Senesi steps in. Tavernier. Solanke. Aarons. Giving Doku some defending to do. Just couldn't quite find Tavernier. And now those in red and black have to get back in numbers. Walker.
Subs will need to go for a warm-up. I mean, City keep the ball for so long.
Yeah, they've been standing on halfway, waiting to come on for a fair few minutes now. Bobbing up and down as best they can to keep warm. It's not the most tropical of days in Manchester today, it's fair to say. The break in play will now allow for the changes. Pen and paper at the ready. It's the end for John Stones. Rico Lewis on for him.
Substitution for City number 5, Johnny Stones.
Stones right back in the mix. After a spell out with a hip injury. Julian Alvarez will also make way. Mateus Nunes will come on to keep the attacking threat going for Manchester City. And Rodri will be protected with tougher challenges ahead. Calvin Phillips. A rare opportunity for minutes for him. He's made more starts for England this season than Manchester City. 3 Premier League substitute appearances this term, totaling 70 minutes before today. So all important for him to get on the field. Antoine Semenyo and Luis Sinisterra will come on now for Bournemouth. Philip Billing, one of those to go. Marcus Tavernier, the other. As smoke comes out of the fourth official's board, I think, after all those changes. So many he needed to get everything done. Anthony Backhouse, though, right on point with all the numbers, and away we go again.
Well, 20 minutes to go, a fresh injection of legs. You'd imagine players keen to make an impact. I'm talking about City, of course, and whether do they really want to get some more goals? I think they do.
Foden and Kelly clashing. There are various things at play here in the mind, perhaps, aren't there? You always want to score more goals, but you want to perhaps preserve a bit of energy for challenges ahead. Pep Guardiola demands high standards, but will also want to make sure that all of his squad is ticking over nicely for the games to come. And as we mentioned, the Premier League tests to come in particular are intriguing. Foden won't quite catch that. Incidentally, Bournemouth's next few games in the Premier League: Newcastle at home, Sheffield United away, which could well be vitally important come the season's end, the way it's all shaping up. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Manchester United and Luton Town also on the horizon. Rothwell. Tess Nunes playing through the middle now, pretty much, Andy. We've seen him play in various different midfield positions in his Wolves days.
Yeah, and just whether he can establish a relationship.
Aaron's playing it in. Bournemouth with a chance to get on the board, and it's taken. Luis Sinisterra. Well, the game might well be out of their reach, but there's a crumb of comfort for them in some ways, and a nicely taken goal.
Perfect from Max Aarons. I mean, he's the one who's wide. He's the one who is onside. And the pass that he plays is absolutely perfect. So Aaron's playing it into the box, and there's a substitute, Sinisterra. I thought he could have taken it first time. I thought he might have lost his chance when he cut back inside here, but he retained his composure and found the gap to get it beyond Ederson.
VAR checking goal for a possible offside.
Well, the celebrations are on hold for a moment.
Yeah, it's not Aarons who's offside. It must be the ball that Aarons played, and that's going to be the tight one. They'll be requiring some of the lines to be drawn. So tight.
Well, if it is given, it will be his first Bournemouth goal. Question is, has he strayed there? Bournemouth are waiting and waiting, but now they are celebrating, albeit in muted fashion. It is a first goal for the Cherries for Luis Sinisterra.
Well, that pass there, Sinisterra did so well just to make it count.
A goal that delights the substitute, will no doubt frustrate the Manchester City goalkeeper, who loves a clean sheet and has had plenty of them down through the days and years.
Yeah, and it was Akanji who picked up a bit of a knock, and he's walking round the side of the pitch. Pep Guardiola wants him back on.
Guardiola very animated with the fourth official, Anthony Backhouse, while the game carries on with Semenyo. Akanji back with us now. Rothwell finds a way through the gap, and then perhaps got in the way of Kirkes, who fancied the strike. Kovacic will clear. Rothwell could have pulled the trigger on a couple of occasions, perhaps there himself.
Yeah, he could have. What a boost that would have been for Bournemouth to get another.
Well, there are 13 minutes left. 4-1 is still a handsome scoreline. A second Bournemouth goal, they might start a few doubts entering the Manchester City minds. Foul by Sinisterra.
Just comes in from behind there, shoving Phillips to the ground. Sinisterra.
Two former Leeds men, toe-to-toe there. Sinisterra came to life in terms of goals at the end of his Premier League spell with Leeds. 3 goals in his final 5 top-flight games. He was a scorer in the Championship right at the start of this season as well, before his loan move to Bournemouth. Edison beautifully into the path of Walker. Lewis taken down.
Yeah, just a bit of a bump there.
Edison. Lewis for Akanji. Nunes. Christie just got a toe to it. And on he goes now, looking for Semenyo. Ake was on high alert.
Not like the first time pass of Ryan Christie. Just gave one of his teammates a bit of a chance to get on the end of it. But Ake was alive and alert, aware of the danger, turns it round for a corner. It's been a decent spell for Bournemouth.
First corner of the game for them as well. Coming in the 80th minute. Can they make something happen here? He asked a few questions. Solanke made it his. No one else could profit from the knockdown. Interesting to note that the Bournemouth goal from Sinisterra, the first and only effort on target from the Cherries today. And the substitute well and truly making it count. Akanji. Foden. Ake. Doku. The roll for Phillips.
Senesi. Billing. Aarons.
Semenyo. Gets it back from Aarons. Gets out of a tight spot as well. What do you take away from this if you're Andoni Iraola?
I think some positives, just in general, their organisation, their discipline, the fact they've competed for long periods. The 3-goal burst in a 7-minute spell absolutely killed them in terms of getting anything from the game. But I think you can be quite happy with a lot of the individuals and their performances. If they continue in this fashion, you know, they should be okay. A lot of games coming up against teams in and around where Bournemouth are, currently 4th from bottom.
Semenyo. Doku's touch for Ake. He's opened up the game beautifully there for Manchester City, and Bernardo Silva, who has Nunes in support, but might fancy it himself. It's delightfully done, and it's in the end. Well, that's what they can do. The game just opened up for those in blue. And they were more than happy to accept the invitation to gallop forward. And in the end, it didn't really matter who put it in. Someone was always likely to.
Well, I think it's Bernardo Silva who gets the goal. It's over the line. I mean, in the end, Matheus Nunes puts it in, but I think it will count. But Bernardo Silva, the little genius, just takes it in his stride and dinks it over the goalkeeper. I think he's aware of who's in beside him, but there's that little feint, and he dinks it over the goalkeeper, Radu. And it is over the line. Doku yet again with his setup. What an afternoon he's had. But there's a little dink, and it's enough to get it over the line. It is put in the end from Nunes, but that dink there was over the line, I'm sure.
Well, Manchester City sauntering to victory, and a stunning individual finish from Bernardo Silva. That is 5 for the day.
2 for Silva and 2 beauties. He passed one in the first half. He's coming off now to a huge round of applause from the home support. He's a little genius. Don't you just love watching him? His first touch always gives him instant control.
What a parting gift in the game from Bernardo Silva. And Oscar Bob comes on for the minutes which remain. The 20-year-old making his 6th appearance for the club. Bournemouth also making a change as that goal went in. Justin Kluivert on for the final moments, replacing Dominic Solanke. Down goes Kelly. How Matheus Nunes would have loved that to be his goal. The first in Manchester City colours, but it certainly popped over the line. Courtesy of the finesse from Bernardo Silva. Semenyo. Rothwell. Zabani. Semenyo after it with Akanji, who he dumps to the ground.
Well, there's Solanke. He has been taken off, but yet again he's looked dangerous, ploughing that long furrow, taking that lovely touch from Philip Billing earlier, getting himself half a yard away from Stones, cracking a shot off the bar. So unlucky not to see it count.
Nunes. Small section of the Etihad crowd chanting, "We want 6." Bournemouth now just want the final whistle. Indeed, they've probably wanted that for a fair while. Lewis now. Trying to find a way through. He's got a corner.
Well, there's Lewis, and he's up against the defending there. Sinetsi. It's another corner. Every single corner has been taken short. What about this one?
Short again. Foden to Walker. Oscar Bob whizzes it across, and Nathan Ake is there. Of course he is. Those with Bournemouth in their hearts may well have feared that he would pop up at some point. Manchester City's number 6 gets number 6.
Well, City score by.
Well, it's a brilliant finish. He holds off the challenge from Max Aarons. But what about Oscar Bob firing this ball in? Played in with terrific pace. Giving Ake the chance just to dive, get your head on it. He's inside the 6-yard box, and it's always going to end up past Radu. But a lovely cross from Oscar Bob. Nathan Ake taking the opportunity to get inside the opposition 6-yard box, and he gets his reward, holding off the challenge from Aarons and making it count.
Well, there were even some Bournemouth fans applauding him when that one went in. Not a goal that alters the course of the game, but he was a player much loved when he pulled on Bournemouth colours on the south coast. Scored some important goals for them too. And that one just makes the margin of victory bigger still for Pep Guardiola's side. It's 2 goals in 12 Premier League games, or rather it's 3 goals in 12 Premier League games now for Nathan Ake, having not scored in his previous 24.
We'll be playing up front next week.
Well, there is a footnote, of course, to this win, and you mentioned it in the first half. Manchester City have got 6 goals today, and certainly Erling Haaland hasn't got any of them, which is unheard of, really. Manchester City fans will just hope that he is okay, having seemingly limped off at half-time. No word from Manchester City that he has a problem, but it just looked to us that way.
Yeah, they obviously regard the Champions League as an important tie, but equally, you mentioned earlier about the league games that are coming up. Really big ties against the teams that they are competing with at the top of the table. And Pep Guardiola, I'm sure, will want them fit for them.
7 minutes of added time. Manchester City will look to grab goal number 7 in the minutes that remain. Kovacic gliding through, and the runner is Foden. Kluivert now challenged by Bob.
Today's EA Sports Man of the Match with the opening goal and 4 assists, our number 11, Jeremy Doku.
Well, no surprise that the sponsors have chosen Jeremy Doku as the standout player today in terms of player of the match.
Yeah, a goal for him. Maybe more importantly, 4 assists, showing you how capable he has been from first minute to last.
We talked about the praise from Pep Guardiola towards him in the week. No better way to back that up than with a performance like this. Nathan Ake dumped to the ground. The game goes on. Craig Pawson happy to play on for now. Doku. A give and go with Oscar Bob. Foden, Kovacic, Lewis. Manchester City swarming all over Bournemouth in the final moments here. Bob, Lewis, Foden. Those in stripes happy to see it away.
Yeah, the one-touch stuff from City is mesmerising. It's making some of these Bournemouth defenders dizzy.
Kanji. Not what he intended. Christie. Foden thought he was going to escape, but not quite.
Yeah, I think Calvin Phillips giving Ryan Christie a bit of his own medicine after the couple of challenges on Ake where he fouled him. There's that ball, that goal again from Nathan Ake. A tough afternoon for the goalkeeper, Radu.
Doku. Oh, he just overcooked it. Well, pretty much everything else has gone his way today, and he's put the effort in to make sure that it has been his day.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific. I mean, the goal gave him so much confidence. And the fact that he's played 90 minutes, he's got 4 assists, he's been involved in so much. Pep Guardiola certainly believes in him.
And well done if you put him in your fantasy football team, by the way. Kovacic. Tracked all the way by Sinisterra. Lewis saw the danger unfold and wins the goal kick.
Yeah, Kluivert going to try and close him down, but it's off him, turns it round. And just a few minutes to go now. A very satisfying afternoon for Man City. They'll go top of the table, if only for a short time, possibly.
Well, psychologically, it just makes the other teams in the higher echelons of the Premier League think a bit, doesn't it? And they want another one here. Down goes Lewis, but on goes City with Kovacic and then Oscar Bob. Nunes. Christie. Bournemouth will, of course, have better days. They'll have to have better days, but ultimately this was always going to be a really stern test for them.
It's always tough, and you almost feel embarrassed when you lose 6 goals, but these are the champions of Europe. Bournemouth, I don't think, have been bad at all. They've been ripped apart at times by absolute quality, but they've shown some decent things. There's a great deal of organisation. They've got a bit from middle to front. And in Solanke, I think they've got a player who's capable of scoring quite heavily this season.
Phillips for Nunes. Zabani away. Tony Iraiola's biggest job perhaps is to pick his team up after this. No way through for Bournemouth on that occasion. One last push forward for those in blue, perhaps. Calvin Phillips. Is for Kovacic.
No, he's not getting his way this time. De Bruyne.
Kovacic. And Radu in the way. And that would have really put the seal on things. And the final kick ends in frustration.